Paul Reubens, best known as Peewee Herman. That's who I'm talking about today, because on July 30th, even though none of us knew until the very next day on July 31st, we lost him. It was a shock. I saw the news early in the morning on Monday. I saw his face first on Facebook, and I thought he was doing something, and I was getting really excited. And then I saw the dates. Growing up as an 80s baby, if you're watching this and you grew up as an 80s baby, you don't really need me to tell you how much Peewee meant to you. It was kind of like a rite of passage in a way. If you were growing up in the 80s, you just loved Peewee. He was the one. He was the one, besides regular cartoons, that you'd rush over to the TV and watch. He was kind of like a best friend on TV. He understood you. He was a child like you. He felt all the feelings you felt. He threw all the tantrums you probably wanted to throw. But he was so loving and caring in the mix of all of it. You just wanted to be in his playhouse. You wanted to be part of it. You wanted your own zombie. You wanted everything. I watched that so much. And with the recent news, I did find Peewee Herman's show, the HBO special on, which is now Max, which is kind of weird to say because I know a Max, but is what was used to be HBO Max. And that one specifically, I haven't watched in years. But I put it on and I remembered everything. Right when I started it, there's two songs that kind of open it up. There's like a theme where you see all these different like creatures kind of. Well, when you hear Peewee, he's like an alligator. You see all these things on the screen. You hear the song. And then Peewee comes out and sings. Now years has gone by. And right when I hit play, I sang along to both of those songs. Because it was just, Peewee is a part of me. I feel like he's a part of all of us who grew up watching him, who grew up in the time period that he was on TV. And I feel like that's why this one hurts so much. I feel like that's why I need to talk about him. Because I did have my usual video all lined up to start recording and editing, and if you've been around here a while, you know what kind of video I'm talking about. But when I saw the news on July 31st of losing him, about 6 hours later, I thought, no, I need to make this video. I need to talk out my feelings, basically. You guys are my therapy in this. Because it hurts. It stings. It's a different kind of hurt. When it's someone that you watched growing up, when it's someone who always made you laugh, it's a different kind of loss. It's like a bigger loss. And what's worse is what he passed away of. I don't know what it is about people who make us laugh. Maybe it's because they make us laugh so much they never want us to be sad. And maybe that was the case for him, because he was still out in the public showing up as himself or as Peewee, which I absolutely loved when he showed up somewhere as Peewee. I loved him as Paul Reubens, just anything with him on it. He wasn't always Peewee Herman. But when he did show up as him, and you can tell who was really excited about it. Like in this, one of the times when he showed up on Conan as Peewee, you can hear the excitement from everyone when he shows up. So for a long time in his career, he was just known as Peewee Herman. And he made up this character, and this is when he was discussing how he started it.
Peewee is a conglomerate of me and a couple of other little kids that I knew when I was a little kid. I used to work in Florida at the Oslo Repertory Theater, and I did a season of Life with Father for 3 months, and by the time we had finished the run, I was playing the second oldest teenager. And by the time we finished the run, I had turned the character into a cartoon without even realizing it. And I was, good morning, mother, hi, and that was where Pee-wee's voice came from.
And so for a long time, whenever he was out in public by himself, as himself, he never wanted his pictures to be taken because he always wanted to show that persona of Peewee Herman. He wanted to make it seem like Peewee was a real person. And he kept that up for a while. And he took a break from Hollywood for a few years. And during that time, he was taking care of his terminally ill father until 2004. And then after a while, he decided to kind of resurface and do more than just Peewee. And if you're not really sure what I mean by more than just Peewee, if you haven't seen him in movies as himself, one of them I highly recommend is Buffy the Vampire Slayer. He plays someone, and one of the scenes, I'm going to show you a little bit of it, and I feel kind of weird showing it because this is a tribute video and it is a death scene. But I feel like I need to show you because this scene in particular wasn't in the script. The cameras were rolling, he thought of it, and he went with it, and it is so great. And I don't want to ruin it, but this is kind of what I mean. This is the kind of stuff that only he managed to think of, and it was just, it's my favorite part of the movie. To give you an example of how much he meant, probably more than me, but in my childhood, I had a Peewee themed birthday party, and I wish I had this to show you. My mom does have pictures. She didn't find any before I recorded this video because I told her I wanted to do this, and she thinks she has like an invitation she created for this party that I will show you eventually. But it was a Peewee Herman themed party. She made a cake with Peewee on it. The invitations had Peewee on it. I even had one of those dolls that you could find on eBay for probably like $1,000 now. But it was one of those pull string dolls where you could hear his catchphrases. And I broke it. I broke it because I played with it so much. I would pull that pull string until I heard certain catchphrases I wanted to hear, or his laugh. His laugh was on there too, and I loved his laugh. It's such a happy laugh. There's no way to describe it. And so he had HBO specials. He had a Playhouse show. He had 2 movies. One of them was Tim Burton's first directing job, and I love that. I love that 2 of my favorites, Peewee Herman and Tim Burton, joined the big screen together. And you can tell, you can see little hints of Tim Burton in that movie. If you really look closely, if you know him, we've had all these years to get to know his style, and you could find his style in there if you rewatch Pee-wee's Big Adventure. And that I highly, highly recommend. So that movie in particular, if my sister was here to do it with me right now, I would have her sit down and do it with me. But there is a scene from that movie that we called Amazing Larry because there is a reference to Amazing Larry in it.
Is this something you could share with the rest of us, Amazing Larry?
And we used to do it over and over and over, just for no reason. It would be middle of the day, we'd be talking about something else. I'd look over, looking like I'm not paying attention, like Amazing Larry is, and she would quote Peewee, and I would in turn become Amazing Larry. And it's just moments like that. And another thing he did that I cannot go without mentioning, Locke from Nightmare Before Christmas. He was the voice of Locke. So Tim Burton does take his favorite people with him along for the ride. They met during Pee-wee's Big Adventure. He had him again Nightmare Before Christmas. He keeps his favorite people close, and Paul Reubens was one of his favorite people. So even though Paul Reubens didn't come out very often in interviews, the times he did, he was a real soft-spoken guy, the complete opposite of Pee-wee. But he was such a genuine person. And you can tell from all the tributes that came around from the actresses and actors that knew him, that worked with him, all the amazing things that they were saying about Paul Reubens. He was just two great people in one. And the more I think about it that way, the more it hurts to think he's gone. But he wrote out a message for all of us that someone released on his behalf after the news of him spread around. And this is what he wrote to everyone. Please accept my apology for not going public with what I've been facing for the last 6 years. I've always felt a huge amount of love and respect for my friends, fans, and supporters. I have loved you all so much and enjoyed making art for you. Now, I can't speak for everyone, but I accept his apology. That had to have been so hard. Just picturing him, I don't even like to picture him suffering. Couldn't let this month go by without talking about him. Not to mention that he just missed his 71st birthday. On August 27th, he would have been 71. So I know I will keep him in mind on that day. I hope he was in his sleep. I hope they helped him. I hope they made him comfortable. I just hope all these things for him, because he brought so much joy to me and thousands of others, millions of other kids at the time. I hope he was given at least that. Goodbye, Paul Reubens and Peewee, two amazing people in one. You will not be forgotten. You will always be missed.
I'm flying! I am the luckiest boy in the world. My wish to fly has come true. I am the luckiest boy in the world. I'm so much luckier than you. I am soaring. I'm exploring. Gee, flying's fun. I am roaring. I am the luckiest boy in the world. The birds all envy me, because I'm Peewee. If you're lucky like me, boys and girls, all your dreams are gonna come true. Because guess what, kids? I said, guess what, kids? I'm gonna share all my luck with you. I'm Peewee Herman. I'm the luckiest boy in the world. Goodbye. Goodbye, boys and girls.